Everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. It's Tuesday, and the patch notes for patch 8.22 have just been posted, and that means it's time for another patch note rundown. As always, I'll be going through the biggest changes in this week's patch, and letting you guys know what you can be looking forward to in the coming weeks. 8.22 is actually the last patch of Season 8. Starting with the next patch, we will be going into preseason with a whole bunch of changes coming up, so you can look forward to this patch being fairly light, as there will be a lot of changes going forward, and there's a lot that Riot will have to worry about, so these changes should be fairly on the light side. First and foremost, talking about champions. Akali is up for nerfs in this patch. Riot are basically reducing her margins for error now that a lot of people have learned to play Akali, and she is definitely past her learning phase. People have figured her out, so it's a time to strip some of that excess power. She no longer has her last hit assistance. She was getting 4 extra damage on minion last hits. In case you were aware, I actually did not know this, so she is losing that. Her W's cooldown has been increased at early ranks, and her R's base damage has been reduced earlier, but buffed late. What this means is that Akali will generally be a lot trickier to play, especially early on when she can't rely on always having the Shroud available to her to kind of bail her out of bad situations. Jhin has a few bug fixes in this patch. They are technically nerfs because they further reduce the synergy with Hail of Blades. Obviously, Riot did a couple of changes earlier, a couple months ago, I want to say, where they changed how he works with Hail of Blades. They are back at it again. First, his movement speed on crit is now determined based on his attack speed when the attack fires rather than when it hits, and he also no longer gets an empowered haste off of his first Hail of Blades attack. This should reduce a lot of the upfront burst synergy that Jhin is getting with Hail of Blades and generally make it a less attractive option on him now. LeBlanc is being nerfed in this patch. Thank God, it has been way too long coming, but it is finally here. Now, this is a fairly light nerf because the preseason is coming up, and champions will be a lot more able to stack magic resistance to deal with LeBlanc in lane. However, she is getting her W's base damage reduced as sort of a buffer nerf to tide us over until preseason starts dropping. Nunu and Willem are being buffed in this patch as well. They're still lackluster despite the quality of life changes they received in the last patch, so they're getting more directly buffed this time around. Their base AD has been increased, and the Q's base heal has been increased to make it more effective against champions, while retaining the same effectiveness against minions and monsters. Hopefully this helps Nunu and Willem feel a little bit better to play. Pyke is being changed in this patch as well. Riot are still trying to force him into damage-oriented builds, as opposed to just building tank as he is currently doing. His passive's Grey Health Storage AD ratio has been increased in order to help make him want to build more attack damage, and so he will have to because the bases have been reduced. His W and E's mana costs have both been decreased, and they now have better lethality scalings. In fact, his E's stun duration now has a lethality scaling to start with. Additionally, his R also has a lethality ratio as well, so he is being very much so incentivized to build lethality on this champion. We'll see how effective it will be. Victor is being nerfed on this patch. Riot aren't necessarily upset with tank Victor top being a thing, but they are trying to make it so that he's not quite as strong as he was before. His Q's discharge base damage has been decreased, but the ratio has been increased, and the R's base damage has been decreased with an increase to the ratio as well. So Victor will be a lot more incentivized to build full AP as opposed to doing the sort of pseudo-tank builds he is currently known for. Moving on to runes, we have a single change here. Time Warp Tonic is getting changed. Riot are trying to make it less about the extra sustain and more about the bonuses you get for having a pot ticking. First and foremost, it now grants 50% of the potion or biscuit's health value immediately upon use, but prevents another from being used until the current effect ends, and halves the health and mana per tick you get for the effect's regular duration. What this means is that you get half of the sustain up front. The remainder of the sustain will be significantly reduced in order to make it so that you don't overheal. It still gives the 5% bump in movement speed though, but it no longer increases the duration of potions or elixirs that you're currently using. So this should make it a lot more about the movement speed and about instantaneously getting health back rather than just kind of sustaining forever in lane. Anyways, that's actually going to be it for me today, guys. It was a very small patch, like I said, because we do have preseason coming up. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you really enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days like today as well. And if you're looking for more Grab the Lantern content, you can check out my blog, which is linked down in the description. I upload an article just about each and every single day for your enjoyment. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all later.